Hi, my name's Skye. I study History and Politics at Jesus College, Oxford. So I made a video where I put my reflections on year one. So I'm going to continue it this year and do my reflections on year two. Now going to my final year, which is slightly terrifying in many ways, and I don't know how to feel. This lesson of the second year has been a lesson in failure, which is maybe not the most optimistic note to start this on. This academic year, I failed more than I ever have in any other time of my life. As I say that out loud, I feel uncomfortable at that, but I almost feel like it's a good thing. The most painful failure this year has been my failure to secure a summer internship. Tried to get a law summer back scheme. To all the networking events, trained for the Watson Glaser, I attended online webinars by law firms, did the online internships on Forage, and I got rejected from first stage in every single thing I applied for. I've never really failed in this way before in my life, in the way that I've applied myself academic or professional goal. So that was really painful because it took so many hours and kind of no reason why you'd been rejected. I think that blank space led me to fill in that I was rejected because I wasn't good enough. Although now I see it as simply an application that I need to improve for the next round. I really didn't see it as that. I really just saw it as, oh my god, what am I going to do? Kind of destroyed my confidence, and you might think maybe I have a weak base of confidence, which maybe that is true. I guess when I was applying for universities, got into the universities that I wanted to. And I also just felt slightly embarrassed because all my friends, who I'm very proud of and have worked extremely hard to get their internships, were telling me about their internships, and I was happy for them. And I still am really proud and happy for my friends. When you also just have to say, oh yeah, what are you doing this summer? And I'm like, wow, I failed. This experience was not fun, but it really prompted me to say, okay, well, I failed now, so what am I going to take out of this? I recently read a book by the founder of the Dilbert comics, which is how to fail at almost everything and still win big. A powerful quote that he says is, failure always brings something valuable with it, and I don't let it leave until I extract that value. What have I got out of it? Well, I applied, my application was deficient in some way. Well, now I need to either decide I want to take that path or likely reapply next year, thinking about how I can improve my application, how I can tailor it towards firms more, how could I research differently. And I had to learn that rejection is not necessarily a value judgment on you, it's a value judgment on whatever you put forth. So separating goal that you have in the external world, there's goals which are entirely in your control, so a system goal. So for example, I want to run 2 times a week, that is a system goal. It's not dependent on some external circumstance, whereas securing an internship is. So you can have whatever system you want in the world, but you can still fail at that because there's factors outside of your control there. Sometimes failure can also bring unexpected opportunity. Now I've been able to travel to China for a month. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I've been across China, taught in China, which I think is an experience that will never leave me now. So in many ways it's kind of bittersweet. Just gonna take a sip of my coffee. Second lesson that I've learned is everyone is faking that they know what they're doing. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. I kind of still had this idea that when you become an adult, because I'm 20 now, feel like you've got it together and everything just falls into place like a very satisfying puzzle. Kind of just pretend that you know how to do something and then you do it. Everyone is just faking it and then you just got to figure it out. One of the things that I did this year is I organised the food for a ball along with one other Exeter student, and I was like, oh my god, how are we going to feed 1,000 people? This is going to be a disaster. Make any of the food myself. It was all done by suppliers and we had to organise it and then them in and out, logistics, and it was kind of crazy. But I just kind of thought it would all go wrong. Like I had this foreboding sense of anxiety. But then I remember feeling really proud of myself when my sister came to the ball and she had the sourdough pizza and she was like, oh, this is so yummy. And then we had churros that were filled with chocolate, which was so good. But my sister bit into this churro and she was really happy, and I was, wow, I'm pretty proud of myself that I helped in some small part. Amazing night that came together. How has this group of 20 random students managed to organise an event? Everyone was just kind of winging it, we were all given official positions, but nobody knew until we actually did the thing, which is organise the event, and then it happened. We're all just pretending to do something until we do it. It's a terrifying thought that nobody really knows what they're doing, but it's also liberating. It means that you can be a beginner and be bad at things. 2 things that I've tried to be a beginner in, and that is is learning French, which has been a pretty cool journey so far. I've been self-teaching it, so it's very slow, but I'm at an A2-ish level now. My conjugations are still questionable, but I know a few words and I can speak a sentence or two. And also learning to edit and create a video, which is like quite a cool skill, and it's also very fun. You think about somebody who is an expert in something, made a similar point last year, but it's just because they've done that thing for so long and you're seeing them at a different end point. For example, a city around me, cumulative knowledge of hundreds and maybe even thousands of years of mathematics, engineering to create a city. Essentially, what is existing knowledge but a series of lots of people trying and failing at something until eventually people start to get concept and they start to iterate and improve over time very slowly until you can't even imagine how you went from A to B. You want to try something new and you might be terrible, just go for it. What do you have to lose? Literally nothing. I'm terrible at French. Je parle un petit peu français parce que c'est amusant. I think learning to be bad at things is actually a skill that you want. Also, being a beginner, I just care a lot less about what people think. I used to be crippled by being observed, being bad at something, but now I'm just, oh wow, what is the worst that can happen? Get slightly judged. It's not that bad. Another lesson that I've learned, and I guess one that I wish I could have told myself, I wish somebody could have told me going into first year, is you're allowed to have fun in the process of wherever you are right now, whether you be in year 12, year 13, you're in year 11. It doesn't matter how old you are, where in life you are. I wasn't being productive all the time. I'd feel so much guilt, wasn't doing enough, and that I always needed to be doing more. And in many ways I still feel that, a good drive to keep trying new things and to keep pushing myself. At the same time, I don't always have to be go, go, go. I can just exist and have fun. Some of my best experiences this year have been when I've spontaneously gone to the bar with my friends. And this sounds pretty bad. I invited my friends round for a gluten-free dinner and I set off the fire alarm, and then I couldn't sleep because I still had an essay the next morning, and I stayed up until 2 a.m. finishing the reading for this essay. Then I woke up at 6 a.m. to finish the essay. I could have been like, guys, I have an essay due, I need to lock in. Arguably I did need to lock in, but equally I'm so glad that I just did the thing anyway. I had the fun and took the experience of being in this weird, intense need to write an essay whilst also allowing myself to have fun. Why can't you do both? Having fun and working hard are compatible, that's what I'm here to say. I obviously still have habits that I have in place, like exercising and journaling, and these things are really important, but also allow yourself to not be so rigid, be a bit looser. If somebody invites you to go somewhere and my friend hosted a little dessert party spontaneously, before I really struggled to say yes to those spontaneous things. I think when you allow yourself to have fun, when it comes time to do work and to sit down and to study, you can focus a lot more intensely and get a lot more done. Weirdly, this year I ended up doing less work, but I ended up doing better in my collections at the end of the year because I think I didn't push myself so hard to the point where I had to recover for ages. I just have fun, work intensely, have fun, work intensely. Fun doesn't have to be this crazy thing either. Something I really enjoyed was sitting every morning and having my overnight oats and listening to jazz music. Another lesson I learned, the power of experiments. I read this book by Anne Law-Lecoff a few years ago, Tiny Experiments. It's an excellent read, 100% would recommend to anyone. Changed how I think about trying new things. Third term, historians have no work, and it's known as Trinifree, is I wrote a bucket list of things that I wanted to try. Swimming in cold water, hosting a barbecue, visiting C.S. Lewis's house. A bucket list of really fun things that I did. I'll put a few up now. Oh my god, it's absolutely chucking it down. Feel free to experiment and try something new, even if it's slightly out of your comfort zone. This time is limited and university is an excellent place to try things. Tried learning chess this year with my friend Navi, who's teaching me. It's really fun. I'm really terrible, but it's fun. And maybe I won't do it for a long time, but at least I'm trying something new. I'm being absolutely drenched right now. For a while, I tried to optimize according to productivity, but I think experimenting helps you to find new ways of doing things that resonate with you. J.S. Mill is a big advocate for this. You can't just follow the path people set out for you online. Perfect morning routine. You actually have to do the uncomfortable work of going through it and trying new things and failing and experimenting, kind of like a scientist. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Experiment. Try something new just for the heck of it. J.S. Mill says, "The only freedom which deserves the name is that of pursuing our own good in our own way, so long as we do not attempt to deprive others of theirs." So yeah, I've got to go because it's absolutely chucking it down. Thanks for watching.